So today I want to discuss about the data analytic using the R project. R. So a project assignment for the Skype Lab online course. I want to submit this assignment. Okay. So R is the most popular data analytic tool in the open sources. So R is a very important statistical software for all data analytic tools. Okay. So it is very flexible and offer multiple packages. As a huge community, R as a huge community, it is designed for the software programming statisticians and data miners. Okay, so and it is also certificate courses. In this R tutorial blog, I want to explain the complete details of the R. So these are the, I want to cover the R programming. So why do you need the data analytic and installation of R Studio? What are the data types of R programming, what are the data operators of R programming, what are the conditional statements of R programming, what are the functions are using for the R programming. Okay, so first we will discuss about the why do you need the data analytics. So why do you need the data analytics? Now we know the how the data analytic helps the organization important tool their data and uses to identify new opportunities. If you take about the need for the analytic in an organization, you must come across all these 4 steps. So data analytic is very much useful for any organization and business sectors. So if you are using the data analytic, so we will obtain the cost reduction. We will also better marketing and product analysis also done by using the data analytic, and also faster, better decision making using the data analysis. And also we are using the data analysis, organization analysis also done by using the data analysis. So these are the main 4 aspects using the data analysis. Okay. So what is R? First we will discuss what is the R. R is an environment of data manipulation, statistical computing, graphics display and data analysis. Okay. R is the environment of data manipulation. R is suitable for the data manipulation. R is the suitable for the statistical computing. R is suitable for the graphic display. R is suitable for the data analysis. Okay. So R is also used for the effective data handling and storage of the outputs if it is possible. Simple as well as the complicated calculations also possible. Graphical display on the screen and hard copy also possible. Programming language is effective, which includes all possibilities. So this is a R concept. R is coming from the S language. Okay. Next we will discuss about the how to installation of R Studio. Okay. I will explain the steps. First, type R Studio downloader in the Google and then select the first option. This is coming. Immediately it is coming on the desktop version, and download R Studio on the desktop. Click that one. Automatically the total package will be downloaded. Okay, so this is the R Studio download for the desktop version. If you want to R Studio download for the other versions, I will discuss the next slide. For other all installers, the R programming also, R Studio will be downloaded. So for old versions, these are the list of operating systems R Studio will be downloaded. Okay, I think you can easily understand from the Google. You can easily install the R Studio and the R console. You can easily download it. Okay. Now come to the next concept of this R programming, data types. Different data types also there. So first we will discuss the R programming variable. So generally variable is denoted by the single alphabetical, or the variable is denoted by some characteristics. Variable is denoted by some other type of alphabetical. For suppose if I am denoted x equal to 15, y assigned hello, and be assigned true. So how these values will be read in our memory? X equal to 15, y equal to hello, and b equal to true. We will keep the memory like that. Okay. So next we will discuss the next concept. So R programming for data types. Data type specifies which type of value of variable has it and what type of mathematical relations or logical operators can be applied to it without causing an error. There are many data types in R. However, we will discuss briefly different data types. Data types are in terms of vectors. Data types are in terms of list. Data types are in terms of matrices. Data types are in terms of arrays. Data types are in terms of data frames. So we will discuss briefly for individual. So first we will discuss about the vectors. So the vectors are also defined in different types. Vectors in terms of logical vectors, vectors in terms of numeric, vectors in terms of integers, vector will be defined in terms of complex, vector in terms of character. So vector in terms of logical means what are the logical vectors? True, false are the logical vectors. So either true, can write the true or false. They always, these are the logical vector for R programming. Numeric value. So any can write the single numerical value or decimal numerical value. Integers. So any numerical value write in terms of units, that is a integer value. 2 liters, 34 liters or like that. Okay, complex value. Complex means we know everybody to that A plus BA representation. Characteristics. So A double quotes is a characteristics. Hello double quotes is a characteristic. True double quote is a character. So these are indicated as the character vectors. Okay. So we will discuss some examples of the vectors. For suppose, so logical. What is the? I will denote the vector is the vector equal C of true comma false. So this is the logical vector. And second one, vector 2 is C of 15 comma 85 point something and 9999. So all these are the numerical. If you write single numerical, whole numerical value or decimal values or any digit of the number, that is nothing but numeric value. Integer. So any vector is denoted in terms of the numerical values with respect to the units. So that is called the integer value. And vector 5 was denoted, one is the logical value, another one is the integer value, another one is the numeric value. So totally the class of the vector 5 is denoted by numeric. And vector 6 I was denoted the characteristic value and logical value and integer value. The class of vector 6 is also denoted by the integer value. So that, like that, these are the different examples for the vectors. So next vector type is the list. What is the definition of list? Lists are quite similar to vectors, but lists are in the R objective, which can be contain elements of different types like numbers, strings, vectors, and another list inside it. So for suppose this is a vector, I was defined. One is the characteristics, different characteristics combinations. I was defined the vector, and my list is the list of vector 1, vector 2, vector 3, vector 4. So you can for vector 1 is vector 1 for vector 1 is defined numerical value, vector 2 is defined by the integer, vector 3 is defined by the other variables. You can write the my list. List is the syntax value. List is the syntax, and one is the characteristics, another one is the numeric, another one is also numeric, another one is the logical vector. So this is the list. See clearly the output is hello. This is hi. How are you doing? All these are the characteristics. Second one is the numeric. Third one also numeric. Last one is the logical vector. So if you write one command, one syntax list of the group of the vectors, automatically the output is coming for the individual vector representations. Okay. So next we will discuss about the matrices of the vector. So matrix is an R object in which the elements are arranged in the two-dimensional rectangular layout. The basic syntax of the matrix. What is the syntax of the matrix? Matrix, this is the data. Data indicates by the vector notation or some other notations. N row is the number of rows, n column is the number of columns, by row equal to true, by row equal to false. So if you want to arrange the data row wise, by row equal to true. You no need to arrange the data by row wise, by row equal to false. And also we want to the dimension name of the matrix, that is the dim names, DIM, dim names. So this is total syntax of the matrix. Okay, I was indicate clearly what is the data, what is n row, what is n column, what is by row, meaning what is the dimension names. I was explained clearly. Matrix. See what is the matrix? Matrix defined matrix of. So this is the vector C 1:25. That means value the numerical value is from 1 to 25. So I want to arrange the matrix, number of rows equal to 5, number of columns equal to 5, and by row equal to 2. So this is I want to arrange the matrix into this notation. This is the syntax. See now total numerical value is 1:25. Number of rows equal to 2. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Totally 25 numbers arranged 5 rows and 5 columns. 5 rows and 5 columns. So this is the one example, and another example also we will define that. Different examples also there. I think you can understand it clearly. And next we will go to the another data types is the array. So array, what is the difference of the array and matrix? For suppose we want to represent the matrices, the same matrices into the same matrices means same order, same dimension. We want to two matrices if we want for the same syntax. Such a cases we will use the array. So what is the definition of array? Array in R are the data objects which can be used to store data in more than 2 dimensions. Earlier matrix only will represent one dimension. If you want the two dimension of the same matrix, such a cases we will define the array notation. It takes the vectors input and uses that values in the dimension parameters like that. So what is the syntax of the array? Array, this is the data dimension. What is the we want the dimension of number of rows or number of columns and dimension names. Okay. So where data the data means data dimension is the dimension. What is the dimension of the matrix? So these are the examples. Okay. So I will discuss one example of the array. So x is defined the vector c of 1, 2. Y is defined by like that c of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So z is the defined by array of c of x, already defined x vector, y vector, and dimension of the dimension. I want the dimension of 3 cross 3 dimension, and I want the two matrices of same dimension. Number of rows equal to 3, number of columns equal to 3, and I want the two matrices of using these x vector and y vector. So this is the syntax. Okay, array open bracket c of x comma y vector is defined because x is a vector, y is the vector, individual vector. Again we will write the combined of vector c of x comma y, dimension equal to c of 3 comma 3 comma 2. 3 is the number of rows, this 3 is the number of columns, this 2 is the number of matrices of using these dimensions. See, what is the Z matrix? X equal to c1 2 3, y equal to like this. So that means in this case I was not mentioned the by row equal to false. I am not mentioned. So x is the vector, x equal to 1 2 3 10 11 12 13 14 15. By default it is coming like this. This is one matrix, this is another matrix. So the same matrix, I want two matrices. This is one matrix, same number, same order. This is two matrix, same number, same order. So that is the meaning of array. Okay, this is another example of the array. The next data type is the data frame. So a data frame is a table or a two-dimensional array like structure in which each column contains the values of one variable and each row contains one set of values for each column. Below are the sum of the characteristics of the data frames that needs to be considered every time we work with the data frame. So the column number should not be empty, that is the condition of the data frame. Each column should contain the same amount of the data items, that is another condition. The data stored in a data frame can be of numeric factors or characteristics type, that is another condition. The row names should be unique. Don't repeat the row names. Once one name is unique, so that name is never unique. That name is for the other types, other row name of that name. Okay, so these are the. So we'll discuss one example for the data frame. See, this is the employee ID names. It is defined by the vectors. Employee IDs are 100 to 104. And employee names, some names are there, group of vectors, John, Henry, some other names also there. Employee departments, so sales department, finance department, marketing department, HR department, RN department. Employee data, so totally there are three types. Employee IDs defined separately, employee names defined separately, employee departments also they are defined separately. So we want to arrange the data frame of these three employee IDs, employee names and department. So what is the syntax of the data frame? So employee.data is defined by data.frame. So this is the syntax, data.frame. So what are the vectors we are using? Employee ID, employee name and department. So employee ID, employee name and department. The output is coming like this. See, so what is employee ID? 100 to 104, 100, 101, 102, 103 employee IDs. Employee names, what are the names we are defined? That names is coming like this. And what are the departments we are defined? That department names is coming like. So this is arrange the totally data frame into one command, one syntax. So that is the advantage of data frame. Okay. Next we will go to discuss about the data operators of the R programming. So data operators are also very much useful for the R programming. There are mainly 4 data operators in R. So what are the data operators? Arithmetic operators, rational operators, logical operators and assignment operators. So we will discuss briefly first arithmetic operators. These operators can be help us perform to the basic arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, modulo divisions, floor division, exponential value, all these are the coming into that arithmetic. These are the fundamental operators for any concept, very fundamental operators. These are the arithmetic operators symbols, addition, subtraction, these are common symbols everybody know. This is the modulus, A percentage of B, that means A modulo division of B, and A exponent, A power B means A exponential of B. This is the floor division symbol, A percentage divided by percentage B, floor division. So I think my addition, subtraction, multiplication, division everybody know. So what is the modulo division, what is the floor division, I will explain. So I will give an example. This is number 1 equal to 50, number 2 equal to 20. So what is the modulo division? Generally modulo division is nothing but remainder of A. Remainder of A is the modulo division of the two numbers. Floor division is the what is the remainder, what is the final value is getting, that will be converted to the low value. So for suppose here number 1 equal to 50, number 2 equal to 20. So how can write the modulo value and the modulo division? So I will tell one example clearly here. See, so for suppose 22 percentage 7. So 22 percentage 7. What is the remainder? 22 percentage 7 means floor modular division. So the remainder is 1. So that is the remainder value. That is meaning of modulo division. And 30 percentage of 4. What is the modulo division? Modulo division 30 by 4. 30. What is the remainder value? 2. So that is the modulo division of the value. But suppose floor division 30 percentage division 30 percentage by 4. So 30 by 4. 30 by 4 means what is the value? 2 point something value. So we want to approximate the preceding value. So that is the floor division meaning. Okay. So this is the modulo division and floor division. Other things may be common for everybody to know the remaining arithmetic operators. So these operators help us perform the relational operators, like checking if a variable is greater than or lesser than or equal to the other variable. So the output of the relational operator is always a logical value. Okay. So this is the equal to symbol, A double equal to B, not equal to means A. This is symbol equal to B, A greater than B, A less than B, like this. These are the symbol. Okay. So these are the examples for corresponding relational operators. Okay. So next we will discuss about that. This is the output. No, this is the output first. According to the our example, this is the output values. Next we will discuss about the assignment operators. So these operators are used to assign the values to the variable in R. The assignment can be performed by using either the assignment operators, this one less than type, or equal to operator this type. The values of the variables can be assigned in two ways, left assign and right assignments. So we will discuss briefly. Left equal to, this is x equal to 5. Left assign means x less than dash 5, that means left assign value. So this is the right equal to value. So numeric value equal to variable, right equal to value, right assign value. So these are the assigned operators. Next we will discuss about the logical operators. There are three types of logical operators are available in the R programming: AND, OR, and NOT. AND, OR, and NOT. What is the symbol of AND? For suppose two numbers A and B, A and B. What is the meaning of A and B? It combines each element of a vector and gives the output to true if both elements are true. If both elements are true, combined of each element of vector gives the output is true. So both element statements are true, the combined vector output also true. That is, such a cases you can apply the logical operator AND. And another operator A given B means A or B. What is the meaning? It combines each element of the vector and gives the output true if one of the elements is true. So at least one of the elements, either A true or B true, the combined of the statement, combined element vector result is also true. So earlier AND is the both A and B elements are true, then the combined output is true. But in this case, either one is true, either A true or B true, then combined element of the vector gives the output is true. So that is the OR of the logical operator. And now another one is the NOT. This is the NOT symbol of the logical operator, NOT of A. What is the meaning? takes each element of the vectors and gives the opposite to logical values. For suppose A is defined, B is defined, so the output is given the opposite. For suppose A is defined by the true, output equal to B output is false. For suppose A is defined by the false, the output of B is nothing but true. So opposite result is coming. So that is the logical operator of NOT. Okay. So these are some examples. For suppose X is defined like this, Y is defined like this. First apply the AND command. AND command means both for the X is defined, all are the true false like that. So see, X is defined like this, Y is defined like this. What is the combined of X and Y? See, what is the meaning of combined of both? So both elements are true, So this is X equal to true, false. So both are not true. So that's why the result is false. The result is the true, for true, false like this. So and then this is other examples of the and not and or. I think you can understand clearly. And next you go to that conditional statement. Conditional statement, there are different types of conditional statements also there. If statement, else if statement, else statement. These are three conditional statements. First we will discuss the if statement. So the if statement help you can evaluating a single expression as a part of the flow. The perform of this evaluation, you just need to write the if keywords followed by the expression to be evaluated. The below flow diagram will give the idea of the how the if the statement control the flow of the code. You can understand. So this is the flow chart of the if statement. This is the start of the if statement. This is the if condition is applied. What we define the condition. This is the if condition. If the condition is true, then if code is applied, then the output is coming. For suppose if you define the condition is false, directly end is coming. So the result is not coming, directly what is the false is coming. Okay? So this is if condition. What is the condition is applied? If the condition is true, then immediately output is coming. If the condition is false, so if code is not applicable, but immediately come back to the end statement. Okay, that is the if statement flow chart. So I think we will define an example. So for suppose number 1 equal to 10, number 2 equal to 20. What is the if condition? Number 1 less than or equal to number 2. That is the condition. This is the condition. Number 1 less than or equal to number 2 is the condition. If condition. If condition, that is according to the flow chart, this is the if condition. Okay, this is the if condition. Whether you can verify this one. What is the print? This parenthesis is coming. So print number 1 is less than or equal to number 2. Double quotes you can write number 1 is less than or equal to number 2 and close that one, close the parenthesis. If the condition is true, yes, the output is coming. What is the output is coming? Number 1 is less than or equal to number 2. For suppose if this condition is false, the output is not coming. See, here x equal, number 1 equal to number 2 equal 20 and number 1 less than or equal to number 2, number 1 is less than or equal to number 2, we want the print. So automatically the output is x less than or equal to y, output is coming. Okay. So for suppose, see another example, same example into the another way. So number 1 equal to 10, number 2 equal to 20. What is the statement? Number 1 greater than or equal to number 2 is the statement. If statement, what is the if condition? Number 1 greater than or equal to number 2. Print number 1 is less than or equal to number. So actually I want the print number 1 is less than or equal to number 2, but the condition is false. Condition is false, we want to print number 1 is less than or equal to number 2. So automatically no result is coming. So that is the statement is the false case, like that it is coming. Okay, next we will discuss about the else if statement. What is else if statement? Where we are using the purpose of the else if statement. The else if statement help you and extending the branches to the flow of the if statement. Okay, and gives you the opportunity to evaluate the multiple conditions by creating new branches of flow. The below flow will give an idea how the else if statement branches the flow of the codes. So if statement only is applied for the single statement. Maybe if else if statement is applied for the multiple statements, continuation of the if statement. So what is the flow chart? See, this is the start, this is the condition, if condition. Directly condition is true, the result output is coming. But suppose the condition is false, what is else if? This is the condition, if the condition is false, what is the other condition? Otherwise condition, else if condition. But suppose if condition less than or equal to, otherwise condition greater than value. So if it is false, the otherwise condition will be defined here. If the otherwise condition is true, then automatically again else if code is applicable, output is coming. Else if condition is false, so the automatically the output is not coming. I think you are understanding. If the condition is true, then the condition is true. If code is applied, the result is coming. The condition is false. What is the otherwise condition of that statement? So then adapt that statement, and then it is true. Then the apply the else if kind of code. Then the output is coming. If it is false, again it is not coming for the output. Okay.
Start.
So I will define an example. Number 1 equal to 5, number 2 equal to 20. What is the if statement? Number 1 less than number 2, if statement condition. So print, we want the print number 1 less than or equal, less than number 2 is the print. And else if statement number 1 greater than number 2. This is number 1 less than number 2. Opposite of this, number 1 greater than number 2. So and then we want the print of number 2 is less than number 1. So here this is one statement. In this statement, what is the print we want? Number 1 is less than number 2. Else if otherwise case, what is the otherwise case condition? If number 1 greater than number 2, we want the print of number 1 is less than or equal less than number 2. The condition is else if is the number 1 greater than number 2, but we want the output is number 1 is less than number, don't change, this is number 1 greater than number 2. Okay, else if finally, else if applied, else if code is applied. What is else if code? This is one condition, this is another condition. Else if what is that? Number 1 equal to number 2. So here we want to print that number 1 and number 2 are equal. So finally the output is coming that from the number 1 equal to 5, number 2 equal to 20. So what is the correct statement combination of all these? So number 1 less than number 2, such a cases what is the print value? Number 1 is less than number 2. So the output is coming number 1 is less than number 2. So remaining statements are wrong statements, the output is not coming. Okay, so number 1 is less than number 2 is the output. Okay, and finally statement, the else statement is used when all the other expressions are checked and fraud invalid. This will be the last statement that gets executed as a part of if else if branches. Below are the flowchart of it. So this is the else if flowchart. No? I think you can understand clearly. I was mentioned the diagram of the else statement. So this example, number 1 equal to 5, number 2 equal to 20. So if statement number 1 less than number 2, this is number 1 less than or equal number 2, else if is number 1 greater than number 2, print number 1 is less than number 2, else print number 1 and number 2 are equal. And finally we will discuss about the R programming functions. A function is a book of organized reusable code that is used to perform a single or related actions. So there are mainly two types of functions in R. Functions, predefined functions, user-defined functions. Predefined functions, these are the built-in the functions that can be used by the user to make their work easier. For example, you already predefined, fixed. By default, the data is coming. Mean of x, sum of x means SCM, sum of x, square root of x, SQRT of x, upper value of x means upper of x, lower value of x means lower of x, variance of x means VR of x, standard deviation of x means SD of x, etc. All these are the predefined functions. So user defined functions means we want to define. According to the function, we will define. User defined, these functions are created by the user to meet a specific requirements of the user. The below of the syntax of the user defined function. So function name, that is the choice is ours. What is the function name? Function of argument 1 and argument 2. What are the argument? Argument 1 means variable of x, variable of y, or variable of z. Different arguments are there. Argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, etc. Arguments means variables or any other concepts. Not only variables, other concepts also. And apply this parenthesis, and function body is coming here. What is the function body? Maybe formula is applied and other things will be applied into the function body, and close the parenthesis. So this is the syntax of the function. So I will define, will give one example. See, I want to define consider the following example of the simple function of generated by the sum of the squares of two numbers. So what is the function name? Sum of squares. Sum of squares defined by function of x comma y. X is one argument, y is another argument. Open bracket, that is the parenthesis is open, and we want that sum of squares of x and y. That means what is the function body? We want x square plus y square. Close the bracket. So close the bracket, and sum of squares of, we defined the x value equal to 3. We want, for suppose the x equal to 3 and y equal to 4. So sum of squares of 3 comma 4. What is the sum of squares? Already defined the sum of squares function and body also, close the bracket. So this is the original general formula. So in general, we want the sum of squares of x equal to 3, y equal to 4. So what is x equal to 3, y equal to 4? 3 square plus 4 square. That is output equal to 25. Like this it is coming for the user defined function.